All right. So anyway, here's the next challenge is where you actually work with bytes and files to see to extract the bytes from things. So you can learn how integers work. I is 1. You can print a variable and the type of the variable to see what it is. And you have to learn variable types. This is what I spend a lot of my time doing in Python, is fixing the variable types. Although I must say, when I used Bard to write the code, I'm going to move to trash, return to Colab. I did not worry about changing the variable types at all. Bard did that for me. That is something I might really benefit from in my Python, is just letting Bard solve these problems. So this is an integer. And I didn't say int I equals 1 the way I would in C. It figured out I wanted an integer because I put a 1 in there. So that's type integer, and I can add 1 to it, and it's still type integer. So there you go. Class 1 and 2 are both class integer. Now, these are bytes. So if you do this, you make a B and then a quote. You make a byte array with a single byte in it which contains 1. And now when I try to add to that, it's going to complain because you can't add to a byte. You can add to an integer, but you can't add to a byte. And it tells you here, can't concatenate int to bytes, which is what it thinks I wanted to do with that plus sign. And I get tons of these error messages where I can't do what I want to do with the type of variable I have. So here I set b equal to a of 0. This is going to be the first element of that byte array, and I think it's going to be an integer now. This is one way to convert it to an integer, and I must say it's not obvious at all. I make a byte array containing 1 byte of 1, and when I use the square brackets to pick out the first element, now it's an integer. So that's one way to do the conversion. And so if you wanted to take a byte object and add 1 to it, this is a way to do it. You make your byte array, then you take the first element, that's an integer, then you add 1 to it, then you turn it back into a byte array with the bytes command. Now, that's what I've gotten used to doing and copying and pasting all the time. You know, I wonder if we can do this with Bard. Let me see if I can explain what I want here. I want you to make a byte array named A, take the first element and turn it into and add 1 to it. Let's see if Bard can solve this. I highly doubt it. In Python, create a byte array named A containing 1 byte of 0, 1. Add 1, create a new byte array, named B, with each byte equal to A, you incremented there. And this is what I want. We'll see if Bard can understand and do that. The only way I know to do that is to convert everything to integers, add them. Here we are. B is A. Oh, wow. Woo. Oh, man. I don't think this is going to run at all. Let's try it and see. Didn't export to Colab? Let's close this. Okay, now export to Colab. Oh, I got to hit this button. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't think that's going to work at all. Well, it did work. Well, it's smarter than me. I thought this would make a separate pointer to the same object. That's what's happened to me before when I try to do that. I've in fact had trouble copying arrays. This seems to have done it. And this is a way to refer to it. Well, there we are. I'm impressed by Bard. Bard had a much more elegant, beautiful solution than mine. Neat. So anyway, I say use Bard. So now we're going to read a file. So we're going to make a file containing this text, hello, and I can do it here in Colab. I'm just thinking about how when I actually, okay, I'm going to make a move to trash, return to Colab, new notebook. Okay, first I'm going to make that file, and there are various ways to do it. The simplest way I know is this: bang echo. You can actually command line hello to hello.txt. There. That should do it. Might put the quotes in there, I'm not sure. Should have been in this list though. Refresh. Ah, there it is, hello.txt. Good. And if I click that, I can, thought I could see it, but I guess not. All right, anyway, so I made a file called hello.txt that contains hello or something close to it. Now I'm going to open it here. This is how you read it. So I'm going to copy that and put it in here. And I called it hello.txt instead of in files, so I'm going to put that here. There. So open the file, read bytes as F, read the bytes. While it's not empty, print them and read. So this should print the contents of a file. And there it is, all the bytes hello and then the carriage return. Okay, that did what I wanted it to do. Now I'm going to make an out file, input and out file, copy a file byte by byte from input to output. So my input is hello.txt. Now it's going to read the bytes one by one and write them to something called out file. So, okay. And now if I look here, I now have in file, hello and out file. So it does appear to have worked. And so now you can download this file and you want to count all the 8s, bytes that are 8 in there. Then you want to take these files and add them together byte by byte. And let me just show you this. It's easier to see graphically than to explain with words. If I download these two files and view them here, I can open them in a hex viewer. And the simplest one I have on Mac is called HexFiend, which I highly recommend. By the way, it's a free hex editor for the Mac. It's like HXD on Windows, a nice powerful hex viewer. Okay, and so here's the two files. Look like this. And so 41 plus 13 is 54. Then 54 plus 14 is 68, and so on. So if you add these bytes together byte by byte, this unreadable junk will turn into readable ASCII. And that's how you find the flag. And down here, these two add together byte by byte, and they turn into an image that contains the flag. So those are little projects in handling bytes and files. And I think you can go pretty far by letting Bard write the code for you.